Hey everyone, I got pointed this week to Kim's video about changes to artillery, which I laughed at a little bit because that's already been done. Armored Warfare years ago changed their artillery to be exactly as he described they should be in World of Tanks, and behold, it actually works quite well. So we have visible evidence that what he's talking about is good and useful in the game. And I thought I would play a little match in Armored Warfare for you, just to show you how that plays out. I'm playing the Akacja, or Acacia, which is a Soviet Eastern Bloc, Polish, East German, Czechoslovakian, etc. artillery piece during the Cold War and beyond. Has 152 millimeter howitzer, I believe. And as you can see, you really don't need to do a whole lot to change them. You know, you can still give them decent. Oop, I hit his gun barrel. Did you see that? Of course. You don't need to do a whole lot to change these tanks to make them better, different than what they are. You can kind of rock with them as is. My heat shell got eaten by his track there. We're going to swap up, see if we can do this again. He's got ERA as well, so that makes it tougher. There you go. So you can see they are glass cannons. They hit hard, but they have their weaknesses. I have obviously much less HP than anybody else, and I'm also rocking a much lower shell trajectory, right? So I can't sit back and snipe. I have to be careful about my shots and where I land them and how I land them. I do have heat shells. I have HE shells as well. So for like that guy, there you go, target destroyed. And also interestingly, Armored Warfare allows for two other shell types that World of Tanks might want to introduce that provides a tactical element to your SPGs. One of those is a white phosphorus round. So this leaves a burning patch on the ground. Oh, bad guys. This leaves a burning patch on the ground, which does damage over time to vehicles. So as you can see, that's a pretty neat concept and helps you with cap resets or swapping things out. And I use it from time to time. There's also a smoke shell, and those can be helpful as well if you are trying to smoke off, shield opponents, that sort of thing. Of course, World of Tanks doesn't have smoke in its repertoire, but that doesn't mean that it can't add it or that it wouldn't be fun to just give it to, maybe, for example, squeeze that in, but he got the kill before I could get there. Add it just to SPGs to give a little bit of fun in the game. So just some thoughts. And like I said, this is not hard to implement, and I do think it works pretty well. Now, World of Tanks has a long history of implementing changes that Armored Warfare developed. I know that sounds like I'm accusing World of Tanks of something. I'm not. It's just the truth. Everything that Armored Warfare developed, World of Tanks has put into, well, that one went wild, didn't it? Has put into place. Now, they've often done it better than Armored Warfare did, which is why they're more successful. But truth be told, they have stolen everything. The auto-reloading mechanics you see on Italian tanks, done in World of Tank and Armored Warfare first. Cyclical reloaders, Armored Warfare done first. The kind of stuff you see with the Czechoslovakian ride, having an autocannon with a large clip, or an overheat mechanic, right? The things coming in and out quickly, the accuracy moving out quickly, I should say. All of that was developed here in Armored Warfare first. That's not to say Armored Warfare is a great game. It has its nice points. One of the downsides, though, of course, is the lack of population on the U.S. server, which is where I'm at right now, which is the only server, mostly because the game is primarily European in its player base at this point. And the result of that is that it's hard to find games at night, as you can imagine. So, but other than that, in a lot of ways, it's very similar to World of Tanks, just with modern stuff, which is interesting, and I wanted to mention that as well. There is a possibility World of Tanks adds modern features this year. Obviously, it's already in on the console, where it's actually acquired the subtitle, right? Modern Warfare. But beyond that, there was a preview video for Tanks 2025, and one of the things you saw in there was what looked to be the side skirt armor of a T-72. So it looks like that might be something that we get this year, and wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea, I don't think, in the grand scheme of things. So probably should switch to HE rounds, but we'll keep rolling with the heat, and because of all the damage it's putting out. We've been spotted again. Drop some smoke around us. Yeah, Katsaya has a smoke generator in the engine deck, and so that's the match right there. PvE games are short and sweet. don't earn you as much as a PvP game does, obviously, but still, when you need to be able to play in the evenings and you're on the North American server, or, well, you're just a North American player, I guess I should say, this is the best way to do it, because you only need 5 people to start a match, and that was one of them. So as you can see, pretty easy, and we'll look at the post-battle results here, but I essentially kept pace with everyone in what was a vehicle that was an indirect fire vehicle when the game started, right? You know, it's not as hard as it might seem to balance those things out and to make them worthwhile. And I got to be honest with you, this was one of my favorite changes from Armored Warfare. It really was. It created a very fun class of vehicles to play. So you can see here, obviously the Chief 900 lit it up, heavy tank at the front of the line, getting spotting damage from all of us and all that, did a great job. And then of course the T-72s here and me, the ZBL struggled a little bit. I think that's a weaker infantry support vehicle, which don't do as well in PvE because there's not infantry to mow down or that sort of thing. But nonetheless, as you can see, kept pace just fine in this match and did well with it. So we're going to do another one with another vehicle just to show you some of the options. But again, I think it's very much a possibility. You know, what you have is damage and non-penetrating damage. Armored Warfare does actually mark that out for you, which is helpful. But you can see, you know, the amount of damage is very high and then just gets reduced, much as HE did originally in World of Tanks. But as you could also see, it was fairly consistent. There's some internal modifiers that help with that. And AW's handled that differently than World Tanks has, but nonetheless, I think it's still a compatible thing you could do within World of Tanks. So let's take a pause here. I'm going to jump into another match, and we're going to watch again, this time with a different SPG. And welcome back. We did a high-tier game this time with a tank that just got added actually to War Thunder. What is affectionately known as the Panzer House, and I picked it for 2 reasons. One, to show you a high-tier battle with what is a possibility for World of Tanks for changing artillery, but also because this one's unique in that it has an autoloader. So that's a pretty awesome mechanic, and you think, my God, can you imagine, you know, artillery with autoloaders and how terrible that would be. But again, you know, with some balancing and understanding of just kind of the parameters of tanks, it should be fine to do that in the game and have something that does still end up as a little bit of a glass cannon. Let's see if I can... They've pushed up really fast. Yeah, these shells are really slow. I should have remembered that. I just said it in the first match. They've pushed up really hard. These tier 10s are pretty good players. I'm going to struggle to keep up with them, I think. And we're going to move to heat shells after this. Actually, we're going to stick with HE. Nope, just missed him. So I'm going to have to get closer, obviously, to be able to do anything. You can see they're already moving up. This Puma and I are in the back. We're going to roll forward, and he's got the right idea. I think we need flanking positions as kind of the glass cannons of the group. All right, and I need to learn how to lead. Oh, he stopped short. Let's see if I can... No, he's almost gone anyway. Oh, I lofted it too hard. No. So maybe the tier 9 not as well balanced, not as able to do as well, or it could just be my skill level in dropping shots on folks. Yep. Got what, 2 more? No, it's reloading now. All right, good. So as you can see, mobility is not an issue. If you're making glass cannons, there's also no reason to make them like super slow, right? They can have normal traverses and speed the same as any other tank can. And you can just kind of have some fun with it in that way. But chems, if you haven't seen the video, recommended, you know, taking away that indirect fire and kind of doing this, turning them into these glass cannons. And I think, you know, whether he knew that Armored Warfare has that as an option or not, I don't know. But they certainly do. And they have a good time kind of putting it together. All right, maybe I do need to switch to heat. Just to get a little more consistent damage out of this. You know, ideally you'd want to... Oh, good Lord. Here we go. Alright. I did drop a pretty big bomb on him if I saw that. So that's nice. I should have the damage counters up. 1 shell left. Let's go ahead and reload. We're also going to use our field repair kit. This is a PvE match again. I've got it on medium difficulty. There are some pretty hardcore operations in here where it's almost like raiding in an MMO. Like you need a 5-man team that actually communicates on Discord swaps positions, plays their roles in order to beat those, because the AI is just that tough, which is actually kind of a fun endeavor. Up in front of me, you can see the AGDS. It's an experimental Abrams tank that mounted ATGMs that could double. Oh, yeah, that's nice. That could double as air-to-air as well. Just chewing up this light tank. Come on, one more. Nope, he's down. All right, let's go ahead and reload. Sit in a bush here. You'll notice also one of the things I like that I think would be a good quality of life addition, besides changing artillery in World of Tanks, is one, in the bottom left, look at my camouflage monitor. You can see directions I'm being shielded from on there with those brown blocks. And secondly, my actual camouflage rate, right? I'm moving, so I lose camouflage, I stop, it rebuilds, and I have an actual, observational information on that, which is very helpful. Looks like we're changing positions in the mission and going up the hill. Actually, I am going to fire some heat rounds just so you guys can see those in action. White phosphorus doesn't work nearly as well on this as an auto loader, just because it tends to be something you want a single shot. You don't want a whole canister of it, although I guess you could if you really wanted to. This thing does not shoot well on the move, as you can imagine. Part of the balancing of being able to drop bombs. But I haven't dropped a bomb yet. I want one of those, 1,000-point landers like I had earlier. Let's see. Here we go. There we go. That's what we like to see. We'll finish him off. Let's go ahead and load it up. And we'll climb the hill here. Oh. Obviously in PvE, oh god, there's people behind me. Alright, the good news is light tank, I can deal with him. Or, if I pin, I can. He's inside my camouflage, unfortunately. Dang it. Got one more. Yep, taking those shots. Now, not to worry, if you do die in this, there is the option to respawn. You can do that up to twice in PvE because it can be fairly brutal. Besides having that repair kit on you, which is an extra consumable, kind of like food or whatever else. All right, I see a tank over here. Let's hope our teammate has him distracted. Nope. So there you go. Now you can see the respawn mechanic. He has an autocannon, obviously, which is how I got pegged. So we're going to see if we can get over there in time. If you're wondering about the secondary objectives, it is not unusual for players to ignore secondary objectives. They just don't provide enough of a bonus, really, to be worth the time it takes away from the primary mission. And so that's not unusual. I could go do the researcher. That would not make for a very exciting video, though, I don't think. So now we need to defend over here. There are clearly enemy tanks over there. I don't have great vision, though. We're going to do that in blind fire. We're going to get across the river and get some cover. Smoke is handy, isn't it? I would have liked to have spotted for them, but I'm just not in a position to be able to do that since I don't have any armor. Oh, Lord. All right. There we go. Dropping those bombs. Oh, Lord, here comes another one. Let's get the smoke out again. See the eyeball, I'm still spotted there. All right, we can go back up. Clip is reloading. I can take one or two more shots and then I'll have my final respawn. Oh god. Fortunately, the AI bot is interested in someone else. There we go. Mike can get the rear of this guy. There we go. And we're on reload now. Stay hidden if we can. Merkova's turning to take a shot at me. We're going to stay behind the house. and let our teammate clean him up. All right, we are reloaded. See if we can catch him. No, he's gonna stay right there. There we go, last one. That time I did not keep up nearly as well as everyone else, obviously. In part my skill level, I think, or lack of skill, lack of a good crew. I've not played high tier SPGs all that often, but even then you might be looking at this going, well, that's good. We don't want SPGs to be too powerful. And I would agree. So essentially all Armored Warfare has done is taken and given them the standard damage you would have for that caliber shell. Most of these artillery are rocking something between 105 millimeter and 203 millimeter. That's okay. We know how to handle that in the game. We know what those alphas look like in World of Tanks, and we know what the penetration levels should be by tier. All of that works out. You can adjust the hit points, the soft stats as needed to balance those out from there. But they're not even as bad as like the giant hash rounds at tier 10, right? That's not part of the game, really. You're dropping bombs, but as you can see, what you want is those bombs do like half damage, something like that. That didn't do too bad, actually, over here, and actually was a light tank all more than anything, it seems like. So anyway, this is interesting and fun for me. I do think it's something that World of Tanks would benefit from, making this change so that you have this as an option. And when you do that, by the way, you open up a whole new category of premium tanks. So even over here, Armored Warfare, I have a premium British SPG, the Abbott. Has HESH rounds and HE rounds instead of heat, but that's what happens with British tanks. And it's a fun little tank to play. I enjoy having it there, right, and having it in the catalog. So this is something I would encourage World of Tanks to take up. I appreciate Kim's making the video. I'm going to link that video in the description below so that you guys can go watch it if you have not seen it yet. I think it's worthwhile. And you let me know in the comments if you think it would be good for World of Tanks to rework artillery in this fashion to be some sort of glass cannon. Sort of TD, sort of corner breaker. Like I said, it's been a good move as far as I'm concerned in this game. I think it'd be a great move in World of Tanks as well. But leave me your 2 cents below. And this is a bonus video for the week. We'll catch you on another one very soon. And as of Wednesday, I think, World of Warplanes is off of the candy grind. Maybe tomorrow, actually. So we might actually get a World of Warplanes video in as well. Who knows? So until then, whatever game you are playing, good luck and good hunting.